Hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for all the wonderful, kind comments that I've had recently on the laminating video. I really appreciate it. And for all the suggestions as well. It probably looks like I have a huge mess on my desk because I kind of do. And I have an idea and I don't know if it's going to work because I've seen Tony, Crafty by Tony, her lovely new stamps, but when I looked at her identification stamp, it was already sold out. And I know she has more, but what I wanted to do is I want to make almost like a mini passport for my steampunk journal. Don't know how it's going to work out because I only have kind of a vague idea how to put it together. I pick up stamps at the thrift store. So I have one, it's from a place called Ready to Rent BC. It's got lots of lovely lines, but it's got some date stuff on it and approved, like it's rental specific. I think I'll need to stamp it to see what it might look like. But I like the lines on it. I have one that's got like an account number, says copy faxed, copy, can you imagine faxed? Do we even do that anymore? It's got a date on it, which would be good. It's got initials on there. It says paid, which I might need to like cover that or blank that out. Has account number. I have this one, which is just a bunch of little boxes, which I think is really good. And this is a Trodat, so they're self-inking and it's still wet. So, and you can kind of tell like my finger is blue. I have one, ROE is, they're specific to when you're laid off. But it's got lines. I might not use that one because of the ROE. I'll use it if I need the lines for it. I have VersaFine black ink. Excuse my arm and any noise I might make. I have some, I'll probably use my Sukaniko Vintage Sepia. I have archival black ink. So I have a couple of options for black inks. This is a little star, and then this one is just a little X, which might be really kind of fun. X marks the spot, signature. Then I have, these are hanging file folders. They're quite big and will take up quite a bit of room on my desk, but I have bits and pieces. So this is, I have like 3 boxes of these and it's time I use some. So I like this one. This would probably be Pendaflex, more than likely. Then I have a really bright green one, but I don't like the green on the inside. And I put Tyvek on it because I was thinking of using it as a journal cover, and then I didn't. Not sure what company that's from originally. And I have used these. These make great journal covers, but that's an aside. I'll show you later how to, in another video, if you're interested, I'll show you how to turn these file folders into one of those tall, skinny journals with inside pockets and flappy bits, and they're fun, really fun. I'm going to put that on the floor. Don't tell anybody. This is the Reversaflex. This is the one I want to use because I like this brown on the inside. And I'm hoping, it does have plastic on what would be the spine part of it, but I don't mind that for reinforcement. Similar color to this one, which is why I think that might be a Pendaflex. Oh, no, it's not. Look, it's Continental. That's what that brand is. And those are the file parts, the hanging file parts, so those aren't going to work. And that's what all of these are. That would be, that might be a Reversiflex, looking at it. So I've got that one. Excuse the noise. That was me throwing them on the floor. I missed my pile. I have all kinds of these little pieces. And then I have that one, which, no, I think I showed you that one. That one, those are both green. Okay, I will use this one. But I had another one. Oh, and then I've got this one, which is even darker. I wonder, somewhere around here, I have a little sanding block. That everything always winds up behind the glue. Sorry if this noise is really annoying. Yeah, that might grunge up kind of nicely. And then this is the Reversiflex, potentially. All right, I kind of like that one. Grunges up really nicely. So, and then this one is different yet again. It's a bit olivey, it's not so brown on the inside. It's all about the grunge. That's not bad. So my options are that one, or that one. So let's put the rest out of the way. Now I think for size, I did up a bunch of pages that I think would look kind of like the inside of a passport folded in half, and I think that's about the right size for a passport. So that would be 4 inches by 5.5, 5 3/4. So that means we would want, like, that's going to be almost perfect. Trimmed down to size. Choices, choices. I'm going to go with this one because I like the brown on the inside. It looks more grungy and steampunky. That's a bit too green on the inside. And so's that one. All right. So, oh look, it has a line there already. So I'm just going to line that little line. I don't know if you can see it already drawn a pencil line right here on there. So I'm going to line this up. Sorry how messy my mat is. I seem to be incapable of keeping my mat clean. Like, I work on it when I'm not filming. I craft every single day. I don't film every day. It just is a bit overwhelming for me, partly because I work full time. All right, hopefully, let's move that to there. Is that on frame? Yes. So what I do is I line up so that the edge is straight against one of my lines. Line my ruler up with it as straight as can be, and then just trim. And then I have two pieces. I can use either one. I think I will use the smaller of the two because it's a little, well, smaller. So I want to give myself enough room that when I sew the signature in, I want to round the edges of the outside, and I want to give room to do a bit of distressing on it. So I need to leave myself about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch beyond the signatures, anticipating that the signatures may grow a little. I'm primarily going to do stamping on them, but I may add things like stamps and fussy cuts to make it look more like a passport. So if you are using these hanging file folders for something else, look at the blue on my hand is now on here. Don't ask me how. That's full on crazy. Not sure where that came from. Probably one of those stamps, because we already determined that they bleed. If you are using hanging file folders for anything and you trim off bits like this, keep these because they make really good backing on little mini cluster tabs. There's so many things you can do with these. I don't throw them away. I think they're lovely. I have a little bin over here of little like random bits. So what I'm going to do from here to start with is just fold all these little pieces of paper, even though I could do that at the end. I'm going to fold some of them so the image is on the inside. And then I'll figure out how they go afterwards. So I need one of these to be the front because they'll go in kind of like this inside. And if you've ever seen a passport, this has a bunch of government official documentation. This has a bunch of government official documentation. All your little pages are numbered in the upper corner, outside edges. So probably, oh, that means I need, oh, no, I have a pile of stamps. Never mind. So I think I want to put a blank page as my outer page to begin with, because that's the one my photo is going to go on. Now, on a Canadian government passport, the photo is not on that page, it's on this page. And then, and I can't remember, I looked at it before I started filming, but there's actually stuff on here as well, so it might be more government documentation on here. And then, so then I would want like that, perhaps. And you know what? I could do it like that. And we could pretend this is like whatever, government documentation. Photo will go here with all the stamping here. And this is where I'm terrified because I don't want to make a mess. I want it to be pretty. Yeah, okay. So what I have is I have printed out, they're here in a stack, I promise, a whole bunch of options. Oh, so one of the other things I was thinking is I printed this one. This is an AI generated, that was just in my stash of stuff. That could be really cool as my inner front and back, like, because that looks so cool. Yeah, I think I will do that because I just think that looks so cool. So I'm just going to trim the little white bit off on the top and side and bottom, because there's white on the bottom too. And actually I don't need that on the to trim off the bottom. I need to determine which part of this I want to use. So I like that number there, and if I put that like that, then I get all of this here. So I am going to trim off that little bottom, which meant I didn't need to trim off the little top. Remember a while back I told you that a printer never prints straight? This is proof a printer never prints straight. Because look at how narrow the line is on the bottom. Like, they're not the same. That's proof your printer doesn't print straight. So don't use the edge of your paper to determine where to cut things off. Use that white line always, because otherwise you're going to be cutting your paper crooked. You want to use the white line and then trim the white line off and then determine how big to make everything. So we determine that's about 5 3/4. And that will be to about there. I know it seems like I'm eyeballing, but you can see that that's gonna fit perfectly. And then I'm going to trim, this isn't quite straight, so I'm going to trim that little tiny bit of white off down there. There you go. Yep, that works. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it and then I'll trim it, because then I can make sure that I've got enough, like, that it bends properly, and that I trim it afterwards. I was working on one yesterday and it was like, I spent so much time trying to get it glued properly, and it was just like absolutely insane. Like a little mind bendy. You would think gluing would be really easy. I made it seem like the hardest thing in the universe. I'm gonna get my little spreader and push that flat. So you notice that I only glued one side. That's so that I can come in and score my fold in before I glue the other side. And I like to do that because you'll notice that the paper is now not where we trimmed it. And that's because it just, it won't be. Like, paper needs room to move. So you want to glue one side and then the other side. So I'm going to come in on here. I probably made that as unclear as possible. If you want a better explanation of why you glue one side and the other side, watch Camellia Craft Designs, because she actually explains it. I just like there's this space in your in the signature here. Like, I don't know, can you see that? See how that little bit on the inside looks smaller than the bit on the outside? It is. But when you fold it, it isn't. Now it's perfect and it's flat, but when you open it, it's not. And she has this thing where she actually comes in and massages like this on her little line so that the peak is bigger at the spine. But I don't necessarily do that. I just burnish down and then trim and know that it'll work. You can use an X-Acto knife. I just use my scissors because it works. And it actually works better if you use scissors, because an X-Acto knife, because you've got that little peak in the middle here, if you use an X-Acto knife, sometimes it doesn't work properly. And then I'm going to flush this up at the edges because you notice that it's peeking out a little bit here. So just come in with my scissors here, like so, and like so. And I think I need to trim, there's a little bit of white on here, so I need to trim that off as well. If you're trimming down a thin piece of paper, don't apply too much pressure on your knife or it won't cut. But you do need it to actually apply enough pressure that it does cut. There's kind of a balance. Sometimes if you apply too much pressure, what you get are, it actually comes in, and instead of cutting, it kind of pulls your paper and makes a big funny mess in the corner. Yeah, so that looks really good. Now that's a bit bendy right now. I'm not also right here, because of how I lined it up, there's a little, can you see that? There's a little bit of brown along here. That's one of the reasons that I chose this particular file folder, because the inside is brown and it's less obvious. And after all of that, I could have used any of the other ones. Like, I didn't need to use the one with brown. So I'm going to put this underneath my mat as I work on that next page, just in the hopes that it flattens a little bit. Look at, there's a big bubble in my mat. Who put that there? So, next part. I printed out probably way more little images to use as the, like, photo in here. And from the passport photo, they need to be 1 7/8 by 1 3/8, which is a really funny size. And I just need to determine which one I like best. And I'll pick one and then you'll all yell at me and go, oh, why didn't you use that one? I'm leaning towards, you can tell which ones I'm leaning towards, right? Because the ones I'm leaning towards, I printed 9 instead of 1. So that was the first one I printed. And I think she's pretty cool. Her eyes are just like spooky and like really, really weird. So whoever this is the kind of like, I don't tend to do stories when I'm journaling, but it would be like if I'm doing a passport, she'd be the botanist that this is her passport, her journal, her whatever. So there's this one. I really like this one. I'll just go from the bottom to the top in the order that I printed them. I kind of like this one as well. She's very steampunky, and so she, a little less steampunky, more botanical. There's that one. She's too big, so she's a 100% no. And I also took the background off of it, and a passport photo would not be facing that way. You may recognize her because she's on the cover, which in a sense would mean it is her journal, but you could say any of the other women are her. Oh no, that is not the one that's on the, she's not the one that's on the cover. My mistake. Then there's that one, kind of like that one. She, although she's kind of facing off to the side, I think that one could work really well. I really like this one as well. And that one. As you can tell, I have lots of these girls. That one. That one. She looks so bored, doesn't she? And I'm leaning towards this one or this one. This one I printed on coffee dyed paper. Don't ask me why, I just did. Kind of like that one. It's a little bit more, sometimes this new printer I've got a Brother MFJ something or other. It's, I just got it on Amazon. It's one of their like less expensive inkjet printers. But sometimes it prints very, very yellow, and I don't know why. So this one's quite yellow, and that one's not. So I might use her. What do I do with my little ruler? Let's use my honkin' big ruler. So she's way bigger than that 1 7/8, because that would be 1 7/8, and that's like her chin. Goodbye, chin. Sorry if I bumped you. She would work. And there's no saying that it has to be, like I could make it bigger. I could definitely make it bigger. So she would work. Yeah, she would definitely work. She's not full on the camera, but that one would still work. And then that one would work as well. Definitely that one would work. And this one would work, I think. You're going to lose a bit of her hair. I'm going to use this one. I think I'm going to use that one. Because she's kind of full on. That looks very much like a passport photo, because anybody who's, I mean, anybody of us that has had a passport photo done, we know that you're not allowed to smile. It's like, here, take your passport photo and don't look like, yeah, not going there. I'm going to start by trimming it off the size that the image is and then go from there, because it'll be easier to figure out how big to make it. So she would go here with all of our stuff to the side. Over there. Which means that she could be that big. Let's trim off about that much down there, because she doesn't need as much of her dress. And then try to get it more rectangular, less square. I often don't. I'm a bit unusual, because I don't save little fiddly bits of paper when I'm trimming off. Like these little slivers here, I don't keep those. I throw them away. Realistically, if I don't, I will drown in paper in about 10 minutes, and I could use them for collage. It's not gonna happen. Like I do collage work and all of that, but I have enough paper. I tend to overprint things, so I don't need to worry about that. So I think what I'll do is I will adhere her and then draw a line around the box of her to make it look like that image is set within. Anybody that's looked at like Canadian passports, I don't know about other countries, but Canadian passports, the image is like, there isn't a box around the image. It's like a white image on a piece of paper. It's not, there's nothing outlining it. So you don't actually, you wouldn't need to put a line around that image. And I'm using Gorilla Glue in the bottle. I discovered something quite by accident. I was just like playing around and wanted to test and see whether Gorilla Glue would actually work as a glue for papers. I mean, I use it on, because it's a PVA glue, I'm already using it on my covers in a watered down format. But I wondered if I put it in a needle nose, if it would work. And I want to show you something quite phenomenal. because this is Gorilla Glue. This is not art glitter glue. This is not Barely Arts. This is PVA glue, which is usually really a wet glue and causes your paper to wrinkle, right? So, watch it not work, just because I said something. I'm just eyeballing it. I've sewn for so many years that I can tell when something is more or less straight. So, stick that down, find my little folder, not bone folder, but, you know, thing. Go like this. And then I'm going to do it from the back as well, just to make sure that it's well and truly burnished down. Because it's Gorilla Glue, you really want to do that. Now, I didn't put glue on the corner there, but look at, it's like fully adhered. Fully adhered. Just as fast an adhesion rate as my Barely Arts. Probably faster than Barely Arts. A lot less wiggle room. I'm just going to put a little bit extra on the corner because I didn't get enough there. That's user error. It's not the Gorilla Glue. It wouldn't work if you used it straight from the bottle. You do need one of these needle nose applicators in order to get it to work. It is a little tricky though, because it doesn't want to come out sometimes. Usually it's pretty good. You do want to keep the tip fairly clean. And then I've got one that's got this like little suction cup thing that goes on the top, and it keeps it from drying out. But look, look. I just really quite, and a bottle like this is my Gorilla Glue. I mean, it says it's wood glue, but it's a PVA glue. A bottle like this is $12. Just saying. So, what do we want to use as a stamp over here? This is where I'm really terrified. So I have a whole bunch of stamps that I've been kind of accumulating, partly from AliExpress, partly from Amazon, that might also work. I want something that is basically mostly lines only. I found my bugs. I think I will use this one. This came from Dollarama. And I probably will use some of these like later to make it look like the stamps that they put in the back of passports. That one won't work. Okay, so I think none of those are big enough. Those are like planner stamps. Oh, and I'm gonna use the bugs. Got these like bugs. So I'm gonna put like bugs probably in the corner of some of the pages. That one is one I was thinking. And then that one, it says date, place, notes. That might work. And then I have, that came from Dollarama. It's got numbers. I'll probably use these in the upper corner. And then I have this Kathy Holden, and one of these will be a signature in the bottom here. And then I have my Tim Holtz Field Note stamps as well. So the Kathy Holden needs to come out. And then think, let's test this one on. This will give me a good idea. This is the ready to rent one. So if I didn't stamp that top, I could use the 3 lines. I like the date. Don't need the GST or the $sign. And then this one, I don't know what all this one has on it. I like kind of how grungy that bottom line is. I wish it said signature. Too bad it doesn't say signature. See, this one has all this other stuff. Like, it'd be easy to get rid of the ready to rent, but you don't need approved and all this other stuff. I'm just not sure how to like get the ink on it so I don't have the stuff I don't want and that it doesn't. Well, let's just try. That's all we can do is just try. Okay, so I want the bottom half, not the top half. And then, to be sure I don't get that on there, so I don't mind the date. And I want to take off that bit. So let's put a piece of paper here. If I put it at the top, put it at the side, then hopefully if it moves over, then I need to come that way a bit more. And I'm going to use the edge of my, part of what frustrated me on the other is it wasn't straight. Fingers crossed, wish me well. Okay. There was a bit of ink from that fund amount, but maybe we can work with that some other way. And then perhaps what if, like I've got these, those could come down here in this empty space. Oh. I have a black gel pen. So I'm just going to draw that top line across there like that and pretend that I didn't miss stamping that. So type. Ooh, that looks better than the last one even. See, that one was all smudgy. And that one looks not too bad. Okay, so there was a word type, which I don't know what that meant, but yeah. And then there was a whole bunch of stuff about like name and all of that. Oh, date of issue. I don't think I have anywhere any stamps that say date of issue, but date, we have a date there. And then one of the other things that they had was a number along the top, which was your passport number. So I'm just going to put that over top of those other letters. I'm not thinking that they should show through, hopefully. Now that looks good. It would be nice if I had something that said like passport number or something, but I don't. So, and then had a signature. So I've got these Kathy Holden ones. I'm doing the easy bits first. What do you think her name is? I like that one. F.A. Whiteman. That's a good signature. Does that look like a botanist? And then, I think I keep going off frame. I'm sorry about that. I was sure I had one with dates on it. There we go. Well, one date. 12th December 1973. That was when her passport, that passport is so badly expired. So badly expired. Sure, I had another one that had dates on it. Lots and lots of numbers. I have lots of numbers. No dates. Oh, there's a... Oh, hey. Even better. 1755. July 12th. Let's use that 1755. Because then, you know, it's well and truly expired. And I'm going to try to put the stamps back onto little places where they belong. That was... Oh dear, I don't know where that went. Oh, there you are. That date is way longer than it needs to be. So, what if we put that above? Below? Above. I have another idea. Because there's that word date. See if I can figure out how to get this thing open. This came from Temu. Hopefully it's not a knockoff of somebody's, like, stamp. And because that would make me feel a little bit bad. A lot bit bad. I'm going to put that in that bottom box. Date. And then get a tiny little bit of glue, or glue. This is glue. You can see that this is glue, right? Yeah. I will use some glue, and I will put it over top of that where it said date. And then nobody will know I did that, right? Gonna use Barely Arts. Put that there like that. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw all the way across there like that. And pretend that the passport office messed that up, not us. I would imagine if I didn't have stamps, I could have just drawn lines with a pen. Might have been easier. Faster, even. Pin back in my glue bottle. This is why my fingers always wind up inky. So, put that there. Oh, January to April 1755. Missed the to April bit. And not sure I remember where that went. There. So the other thing on a passport, so it has things like place of birth but we're not going to put any of that on there because, yeah, chances of finding any of that are like really slim. So instead, what I am going to put on there is my favorite stamp of all time. The one that says Agent 1929. Because, you know, her name may be F.A. Whiteman, but she's Agent 1929. Oh, let's do this in red. No. Excuse my head. Okay, it's not red. It's magenta, which is like pink. There's a bit of black on the stamp still, so it may come out a little bit darker than a pink, if we're lucky. So we're just going to put that in there like that. And now she's Agent 1929. And her passport type, I can use the Dollarama stamps. If I can find them in my little pile. What do I do with them? Okay, never mind. Passport type is 5. That works. And then all right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it at that for this one, and then I'll do another video and I'll put it together from there. So right, goes like that. So I completely forgot I said that I was putting this under my mat to dry it flat, and I just spent like 15 minutes looking for it, and I'm like, well, what did I do with it? All right, so this is the start. I wish I had something that said passport that I could put like here. I may look on Amazon and see if I can find something. So this would be like the front page, and then that's her like passport thing. May draw a line around this. I may add a little bit more coffee down on the corner because it's a bit white. And then these can be like decorated up. And then I've also got some more little pages. My passport had something like 30 pages in it. So that would be 15 of the little pages, but I don't know that I'll put that much because it's going to go, I might put this in the inside front pocket. And then, so next time what we'll do is we'll sew the signatures in and decorate some of the pages, put like stamping on to look like seals, stamping to look like she's been to different countries as in her job as a botanist. And until next time, I hope you have a really great I hope you have a really good crafty day. Talk to you later. Bye.